Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to episode 172 of the We Are Yarn podcast. My name is Amanda and I will be your host today.
I'm going down to the drugstore, buy a big old skeiny yarn. I'm gonna knit me a kitten, even if you don't give a darn.
Alright, so today I'm staying hydrated. I have had an obscene amount of coffee this morning. I am Amanda, like I said, Mandy Kat on Ravelry, M-A-N-D-I-K-A-T, and I am podcasting to you from the beautiful East Tennessee, my little corner of the world. And I have been inspired. My friend Wendy calls her craft room, her room, the Fruit Cave. Sassy Pants Knitter, if you want to go watch her. My friend Daniela of Caffeinated Crafting calls her space the Gert Cave. And I have decided to lovingly call my space the Kat Cave. K-A-T, because my name's M-A-N-D-I-K-A-T on Ravelry. You get it? Like Bat Cave, Cat Cave. Anyway. Drinking my water today, trying to stay hydrated because I've had so much coffee. And decided that it was high time that I talked to you. And I didn't realize it had been as long that I had this long since I recorded. I thought maybe a week, like 2, maybe 3 weeks. But it's been a long time. A long time. So I'm going to get this. We're going to talk. I have a lovely spread. We need to get going. Okay, so first off, I want to remind you that I do have my year-long sweater along still trucking away. So if you are a new viewer, it is not too late for you to get in on this action. Every quarter I draw a name from the finished objects for that quarter and from the Ravelry thread. And you win a sweater, a giftable sweater pattern of your choice from Ravelry. So that is one way that you can get involved if you're just jumping on. But if you complete 4 sweaters this calendar year, you are entered to win a big grand prize. And so far that big grand prize is a bag from Whimsy Stitches. It will also include a sweater's quantity worth of yarn from Twist Fiber Studio. Thank you, Ashley, for that lovely donation. And I'm going to throw in so that your sweater's quantity of yarn and your bag holding your project can be complete. I have lovely sheep-shaped stitch markers, lockable stitch markers. And I found in my drawer a yet unopened tape measure. So that'll be able to go into your bag of goodies. So it's not too late. I'm accepting FOs if you've had, or not FOs, obviously FOs. I'm accepting WIPs. So if you've had a sweater on the needles for 3 years and you're just like, this is the kick in the pants, I need to finish it, please go ahead and finish it and enter it. Our goal is to have garments that we love. Okay. So, the rules about the sweater, it needs to cover most or all of your torso, ideally. You know, like if it's an open cardigan, you know. And then cover most of your arms. So that allows things like the movie night cocoon cardigans, all those cocoon style cardigans, that makes them count. Got to cover much of your arm. Okay, so that's that. So let's move on, shall we? First off, I did finish something. It has actually been finished, the knitting, for a long time, but it sat sadly because I didn't want to do the finishing. And this is my depth cowl, which is by Talitha Kuomi. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. You're probably not watching this to start with. But if you know how to pronounce it and I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. So this is out of Fiber Seed. I did the DK version. And this is the apple cider colorway. And here it is. You can see that actually this big jump here is where I joined it. And I don't think it's as horrible as I expected it to be. Because while I was learning and figuring out the pattern and how to do this intentional pooling, I had a shift. But then once I figured out kind of what was going on and what my method was going to be to keep myself on track, it stayed pretty even. I did actually, towards the end, purposefully kind of start pushing it back the other direction so it would line up a little bit. And I think it's okay. I think it'll be alright. But there it is. So what held me up is, like I said, the actual finishing it and going back and doing the Kitchener. So you had, I did not do a provisional cast on. And yeah, so I had one end was bound off, not live stitches, and the other end was live stitches, and I had to go look up the, I guess, was it mattress stitch, on how to join live stitches with not live stitches, and it was obnoxious. So the reason it was obnoxious because I had this huge long tail. My concern was that I was going to not have enough of a tail to actually do that join. But then I was laying in bed after I think I complained about this to you guys probably, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. All I'm doing is creating a row of knit stitches. And I know that I have 2 solid sections, because it's knitting around, right? 2 solid sections and 2 variegated sections. So if I look at my yarn that's attached and I do the solid section, variegated, solid, variegated, and then kind of into the next solid section and cut it, that's going to be plenty, because that's all I need, because that's how much, do you follow me? And so I snipped the yarn, took a deep breath, snipped the yarn, and guess what? That thought process was appropriate. It was so much easier once I snipped. I mean, I had so much, and I should have thought of that when I stopped knitting, because I probably could have done like 2 more entire rows. But I think it's going to be fine. I have not yet blocked it. But I think once I give it a good soak and a good stretch, it's going to be plenty long enough. It's already super cozy, and it's big enough that I can do a tight cut, like if it's super cold, which it never really gets here. But I can have a really tight cowl if I want. I can have just a loose cowl hanging out here, right? I can wrap it around my neck. No, I can't. Okay, maybe I can. No. But it's, you see, it's good. It's a good length. And I'm really pleased with it. I'm pleased with how it turned out. So you can finally see an actual finished object. And if you do decide to make one of these yourself, you can put it, you know, obviously the solid in there, but you can fold it where your variegated is in the middle too. But I think I liked the solid in the middle for this colorway. I think the solid in the middle looks much nicer than the other direction. But that's my opinion. So, there we go. Alright, so that's my FO. Now, let's talk about my main WIP that I have going right now, and that is my Mae by Andrea Mowry. She is one of my 2 knitting goddesses right now. Andrea Mowry, I want to knit most everything she designs. It's a problem. But this is the Mae. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry from Dre Renee Knits. Okay. So, I have, I'm happy to say, joined my shoulders. Now, when you guys saw this last, it was a while ago. And I probably had maybe the ribbing and like that much knit. I have completed the entire body. So here's the thing. I put it on, and it's really cute, right? But I put it on, and this V-neck comes to an obscene spot. Now, I do still have ribbing left to do. So I think my plan, I'm going to do the sleeve ribbing first, and then I'm going to do the ribbing around the neck. And I may just keep doing the ribbing until I feel comfortable with where it hits. I've gone back and looked at other people's projects. It's like, I don't remember, you know, if I was looking at this, looking to knit this, I wouldn't have chosen it if it was a real deep V-neck, because I'm just not comfortable with that. And I went looking at hers, and see, hers isn't terribly deep. I have faith that it's not going to be as deep as it looks. But I would have done a few things differently had I been thinking ahead. I would not have done the V-neck on the back, because now the more that I think about it, the more concern I have for how it's going to look from the back. I'm not old. To a teenager, I am old. We'll go there. I'm not old in the grand scheme of things, but I'm of an age that maybe I don't need to be wearing a super low V-cut back kind of deal. And I'm not of a build that can support those cute little trendy bralettes that you're supposed to be able to see that are all lacy. Now, if I was one of those people, I think I could pull this off great. You know, get one that's kind of high cut and has a pretty lacy back, worn with this, but I don't. I'm at a station in life now that maybe that's not 100% appropriate. So I'm kind of concerned about that. I would have just knit straight up and until I got to the point where I needed, you do a little bit of a short row shape up here for your shoulder. And I would have maybe just gone up straight until there. Also, I would have checked my gauge if I was doing things differently. I know. Okay. So I did go off a little bit about how I'm enjoying knitting these bigger, boxier, looser sweaters because gauge isn't quite as important with that as it is these more fitted sweaters. Okay, so I think my gauge is the reason why that V-neck is so low. I think my gauge was a little bit bigger and than it was supposed to be, and so we get a much, it's in the row gauge at least, so it's much, the V is much bigger than it should be. Let me be honest. I'm kind of happy about that because that means it's going to be longer down my body and cover more of my derriere, and so in the fall when I want to wear it with leggings, it will be, again, given my age, it will be a bit more appropriate. I am noticing that crop tops are now coming into style again. I jump on the bandwagon with leggings and tunics and finally get my wardrobe to support that, and then, you know, things change, but I'm sticking with my leggings and tunics because I will never wear, I never wore crop tops, I never will. But I think, you know, I haven't looked ahead to see how deep the ribbing is supposed to be, and I'm actually at that point that I should know that already. She wants me to repeat round 2 3 more times. So she doesn't specify a width. So I may just repeat round 2 5 more, you know, 5 times total instead of 4 times. You follow. Just to make it a little bit deeper to cover more of the ladies. Okay, so that's where I am. I am, though, really super excited about it. I've been working on it. When I went in and put my picture of how it looks right now on me, I noticed I had been working on it exactly a month. So Yeah, and I did go ahead, I don't know if you can see, I have these sweet little tags that my mama got me when I first started knitting. An original buy. And I went ahead and sewed that in so I could tell the front from the back, because there is a front and back. Even though the V-neck is on both sides, you see the front is a little bit shorter than the back. You do some short row shaping on the bottom to give it a little bit longer in the back. This is out of Malabrigo Rios, the Purpurous colorway. And I did alternate skeins until I got to working flat at the top. And I don't think you can tell at all that there was a change. But I think if I had not alternated skeins up through the body, there was one skein I remember at least that was significantly different. And I'm glad that I don't regret it doing the alternating skeins. So, but that's where we are with that. I've just got to stop and pick up stitches. I've got to sit down and do that. And again, like with the finishing of the depth cowl, picking up stitches is not something that just super excites me. So it may be a week or so before I get around to that. Alright, in the meantime, the project that I've been picking up, now that I'm having to actually stop and think and focus, it's not just knitting the pattern in the, I think it's, she called it broken stockinette or mistake stockinette, I'm not sure, but I could just round and round and round and round, and that was fine. But when I got to knitting it flat, what I would pick up when I needed something a little more mindless, which this pattern is not mindless at all, I'm just going to say that, but I would pick up Dotted Race by Stephen West. I'm hoping that's the big version. The green one is the big version, and I'm hoping that that's where I'm going to be able to go. Here's a smaller version, and I'm hoping I can go all the way. So I'm using, this is a loop bump that I purchased, oh my gosh, ages ago. I think I got it off of a D-stash. It's Kaleidoscope Eyes. It's Merino Nylon Angelina. And here we are. Oh, I'm in the middle of a row. Isn't that lovely? I have made it to my 4th color. It goes from black into that darker green, into that lighter, kind of brighter green, into a blue. And from there it will go into a lighter blue, and then my purples. Saving the best for last, I guess. And I'm really enjoying it. A little bit of sparkle in it. I will say I did and still do have to pay attention and mark off my rows as I go. Just because I thought when I chose this pattern for this yarn, I thought it was going to be a much more, once you get the rhythm of the pattern, you can go without having to look at the pattern. I have to look at the pattern. Once I get started in a short row section, I can complete that section, but then the next section I have to look a lot. I'm checking off every row. I'm being very good about that. This is riding, oh, my May is riding around in my Whimsy Stitches bag. And this one's riding around in my Twist Fiber Studio bag. I will say this had to take a bath. It had to go through the laundry because there was a flavored water flavored with red Mio incident, and it got all over the bag and all in the bag, and my knitting was wet, and I was like, it's okay, it's dark yarn, it's not like, but the bag washed just fine. I'm really happy with how it laundered. I forgot to put this back on it. But, and I say I'm hoping to get the big size. I don't think I'll get the big size out of all of this, but if you will permit me to hop right up there. Be right back. Uh-oh. I have another loop bump that I think those would look okay together. Like if I went from this one, you know, that purple on the outside, and then jump to the gray and then work through that. I think these would ride together quite nicely on this project, and I think together they could make a really big, really nice dotted rays. This one has bamboo and silk in it as opposed to the, what was in this other one? I've forgotten already. The nylon, but that's okay. I think it'll be good. But we'll see how I'm feeling about this when I get to the end of this. So, that's that. That is that. Alright, let's see. I've been spinning as well. And I'm trying to get things plied from Tour de Fleece. I just spun a bunch of singles for Tour de Fleece, and I'm trying to get it all plied up. So, one thing that I spun was the, I don't have the tag with me, but it's the Apothefaere fibers, I think is what she called it. Tour de Finish Crochet. Apothefaere, yeah. So this is a merino, just plain, not superwash merino. And when I bought it, when I purchased it, she said that her husband had named it Phoenix, but she didn't write that on the label. So I don't know if it ever officially got named or not. I don't know how much yardage I have. I haven't set it, so it'll probably bloom a little bit. I think it'll be probably in the worsted category, maybe DK. So this is, I'm going to say roughly, if I had to guess, 300 yards. And here we go. I love the way it turned out. I was afraid it has been a long time since I've chain plied, just because it's been a long time since I've been able to spin. And I was really nervous while I was spinning. I was like, I'm putting too much twist in this, but I'm just going to stick with it so it's all the same. But then when I got it done, you see I have a little bit of a twist there, but that's, I mean, half a twist. A lot of times for you guys that don't spin a lot, the way your skein acts when you hang it up, if it twists one direction or the other, it'll tell you if you overplot it or underplot it for how much twist you put into the singles. So that's one way, that's just one test to see kind of how well you did. And like I said, when I took this off of the skein winder and it hardly had any twist to it, I was a little tickled because I didn't expect that. So, but it makes me nervous. I am currently chain plying the gradient that I had worked on for Tour de Fleece, and I knocked on my spinning wheel the ratio. For those of you who don't spin, spinning wheels have different ratios, meaning how many times your big wheel turns. When you pedal, when you treadle it, you're driving the big wheel to turn. And so you can change how many times your flyer turns in relation to the big wheel. You can make it go, you know, turn 9 times for every time you spin the wheel, or 3 times for every time you make the big wheel go once. So that way, you know, and so you don't have to change, what am I trying to say? So you don't have to change how quickly you're treadling. You don't have to change you. You can adjust your wheel to get the amount of twist you need. So I actually went down 2 ratios so that my flower is turning as slowly as possible because I thought I had put so much twist into this. So now I'm a little nervous about how my other one's going to turn out. I'm like, maybe, oh, I hope I'm not underplying that one. But anyway. So my goal with this, I have an aunt who I adore greatly, and I don't get to see her very often, and the last time she was in my house, she wanted to see the cat cave, and I had her come back, you know, let her come back and look, and she immediately, she saw this sitting on the shelf and grabbed it, and really just thought it was pretty. And so I had no real plans for this, and except for I thought it was pretty and I wanted to spin it. So my goal is to make, I can't decide if I want to make her a hat. I don't think she's a hat wearer, so I'm thinking I may make some fingerless mitts for her out of that for Christmas. So speaking of future knitting and making mitts for her for Christmas, I have been inspired by my stash and my friends. Again, Wendy and Daniela, we hang out on a Google chat, and we are chatty Cathys, and they recently got enamored by this pattern by Andrea Mowry. Again, remember, I want to knit everything that she designs these days. So this is the Shift. It is a pay-for pattern on Ravelry. $7 I think I saw when I was grabbing this screenshot because my internet back here is horrible. It's a DK weight. It's a DK weight cowl that's made to look like a triangular shawl, but then you don't have to futz with it. You just pull it over your head and go. So I got, and you know, if you've been watching a while, I've recently, not recently, in the last year or two, really made an effort to knit from my stash as much as possible, and open my mind up to bringing things together that I may not have thought of in the past. And in this case, I'm going to be splitting up a pair of 2 skeins of the same yarn. I'm going to be splitting those up. And I'm also breaking out of, anyway. I'm having a really good time working from my stash. That's where I'm trying to go with this. But I pulled this out. I got this is Twist Fiber Studio. I got this spring at the Smoky Mountain Fiber Arts Festival. This was her Smoky Mountain Springtime colorway, and it's really lovely. It has this pop of that electric blue, but then it's the colors of the mountains. You know, the greens, dark greens, light greens, and then I like to think that that orange there is for the red clay of East Tennessee. So I'm going to hold this. It calls for 3 colors. So I'm going to use this kind of as that background variegated color. This is from a local farm. Local as in from Tennessee. They're from Hendersonville, Alpaca Creek Farm. And this is from 3 alpacas. Brissa, Trinity, and Remy all gave their fleeces to make this. It's brown with copper speckle in it, or sparkle in it. They say it's a sport weight, but I think it'll do. It's close enough to a DK that I'm going to call it a DK. So I'll have those lovely greens, and then my sparkly brown, and then because I don't want to draw a lot of attention away from that and I wanted to brighten it up a little bit, this is just some Knit Picks Bare DK Superwash, whatever. So that's going to be my shift, and I'm really, really excited about it. I'm really excited. But see, now that I'm holding that together, I reorganized the stash too. I don't know, I don't get back here often enough to where you guys can see the stash, but my fingering weight is all right there. Above it now, I actually put into bags pairs and triplets of yarn that I think would be lovely in 2 and 3 color projects, so that they didn't get separated, so I didn't forget. But this is a lovely DK that I also got this spring. I got it in Sun Dragon fibers in Brevard. So this is Yarn Baby, and it's a DK. It's a superwash merino silk DK, and her caramel macchiato. It would look really nice with that too. Oh, that might be pretty. No, I think I'm sticking with the green. I have another skein of this that can go with that. I think that's going to be really nice. Oh. Okay, the other skein of this is going with this. It's happening. It's happening. Stay tuned. Maybe in 3 or 4 years I'll get to it. Because I need to hurry this along. I have some I've been wanting, you know, I crochet and I try to represent the crochet. My mother-in-law loves hand knit dishcloths, and I thought maybe I try to make her some every year. This year I'm throwing some crochet ones in the mix, and this is, I don't know, I got the pattern off of Ravelry, but it was a free pattern, and you click through to a blog, and so it's not down, you know, it's not pretty to print, but it's just double crochets in kind of a modified granny square, solid granny square sort of thing, and I hope she likes that. And that's the yarn is I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby. They have really nice, I love this yarn family. The cotton and the acrylic are really the nicest, I think, as far as big box store yarns go. But yeah, so representing the crochet today. That's what goes with me to work. If I have a few minutes at the end of my lunch break, that's what I work on, is my washcloth. Okay, so I fell down. Knittyandcolor was having a sale on her fiber, and you buy 3 get 1 free. They were already on sale, plus buy 3 get 1 free. Come on. So, and I honestly, I'm gonna tell you straight, I know I purchased this one, but of the other 3, I don't remember which one was the freebie, because I just love them all. Sarah does beautiful work with her colors. I got this because it was a good neutral that I thought I could hold alongside other braids, or just make it alone and then it be the neutral for a shawl, multicolor shawl or something. This is Smoky Quartz. It's a merino silk blend, Knittyandcolor. I know I bought that one, but of the other 3 I don't quite remember. This one is Acid Rainbow on just plain merino. See, just her, I love it. It's fun. And then in a very similar colorway, this is Vineyard. There's a little bit more blue and white in this one, but it still looks very similar to the last one, you can see. I am being a podcaster fail right now. There we go. See, they're kind of similar. Well, now that I hold them next to each other, this one's a little bit dark. This one actually appears darker than this one on camera. And then she also included aubergine. This is a merino silk, and it's just pretty much purple and white. I have some other purples in my stash, and I think I'm going to do a combo spin with these and have a sweater's quantity of purple hand spun because that's what I need, is another purple sweater. And I don't already have a hand spun probably sweaters quantity. I need help, guys. I just need help. And then finally, I need to get to the end of this because I'm trying really hard to stay under half an hour, and if I would maybe podcast more, I could do that. Medusa yarn is a local dyer, local to me dyer. Medusa, the sweet Nicole. She had a trunk show at my local yarn shop, and I fell down hard, and I had to get, this is an alpaca silk cashmere blend. Hello, can we say luxury? So I got this one. This is called Stoned. So it's kind of a gray. I got a darker gray, which she calls medium gray, because it is. And then this, and then mauve. I was going to say this mauvey color, which is called mauve. And guys, this is going to be a Suburban Wrap by Joji Locatelli. It is going to be the most luscious, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to knit that up. So go check her out, Medusa. Go check out Sarah at Knittyandcolor. Please, please, please go check out Whimsy Stitches, WHIMZEE Stitches, and Twist Fiber Studio. If you do end up purchasing something from them, throw in that you heard about them from me, please, so that they know that their donations were worth it. If you go visit Sarah or Nicole and purchase something from them, do the same. It's nice to know that, you know, buzz marketing actually works, even though I'm not really getting paid for this buzz marketing. Anyway, I'm going to head out. I'm going to go get this on the computer and get it uploaded, hopefully, at some point today or tomorrow. And until I talk to you again, I hope you're having a lovely time with all of your crafting. And take care. Bye-bye.
I just can't wait to finish. I got the kitten knitting blues. No, I just can't wait to finish. That's why I got those kitten knitting blues.